Hey, folks, how are you this evening? Wonderful, Joe. Yourself? Good. All right, so it's April 25th. It's Tuesday. We're at the Finance Committee meeting. Tonight, Joe Didi is chairman. Vice Chair Alita Di Maria is out. Karen DeMayo is in. Paul Connolly is out. Robert. Thank you. I want to say Borshak I grew up with Barney Miller thing. So Robert is in, Dr. Z is in, so I'm not gonna screw that up. Dave Meth is in, and our associate member Sherry Nolan will be voting this evening because we're too short. Thank you. First up is public comment. Did I do everything okay, Laura? We got everything in there? Good. All right, so public comment. Anyone have anything to say for public comment in the room? Raise your hand. I don't see any. How about on Zoom? If you could just unmute yourself, that would be great because we can't see you. Unfortunately, the TV is not on, but hopefully you see us. And is usually the bottom of Zoom is lit up, right? The red and the blue
On the owl?
on the owl. I'm sorry, on the owl. So can you tell if Zoom is on in your world? Do you have picture? Oh, you see us? I'm waving. Okay, so we're just gonna assume Zoom is working. All right, we're no public comment on Zoom. All right, so first up, we're looking for approval of minutes 3/28/23. Need a motion. Dr. Zalowski makes a motion.
Karen DeMayo, second.
Karen DeMayo seconded. All those in favor, Joe Didi, aye.
David Matthew.
Sherry Knowles and I. Karen DeMayo, aye.
Robert Horacek.
Thank you. Next up is the meeting minutes for April 4th, 2023. I'm looking for a motion.
Motion, Dr. Zalanski.
Dr. Zalowski, motion.
Second, Karen DeMayo.
Karen, second. Joe Didi, aye.
Dr. Zalanski. David Matthew.
Sherry Knowles and I. Karen DeMayo, aye.
Robert Horacek.
Thank you. Last of the meeting minutes was for the meeting 4/11/23. I am looking for a motion.
Motion, Dr. Zalanski.
Thank you, Doctor.
Seconded, Karen DeMayo.
Thank you, Karen. All those in favor, Joe Didi, aye.
Dr. Zalanski. David Matthew.
Sherry Knowles and I. Karen DeMayo, aye.
Robert Horacek.
The reason I say that over and over again is because sometimes they can't hear it when they go back and listen on the tape. So it may sound kind of goofy at times, but it's strictly to help out the office upstairs. We're gonna go out of order. We have the cemetery folks here today, and I'd like to get them in and out in a timely manner. Hello, how are you this evening, ma'am? Wonderful, thanks for coming in. In your packet, you would have received paperwork on privacy fencing. So basically what is happening with Mr. Steinhardt upstairs, anything to do with cemetery over a certain dollar value. They're not really set up to do it that way. So as long as they can come in front of us and get their blessing, they have the money. That's not a money issue. It's just a matter of us approving it. And then Carl's comfortable with it and they can move forward to Laura's office. So they're looking to put up white privacy fencing between the old cemetery and the new cemetery. There's a spot there where some housing and they're trying to cover up some of people's stuff on our side to make it look better. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
It's actually the wood people behind us. And they just keep piling up logs and then they have scratch cars back there. And it's just encroaching every time we turn around, it's another 3 feet on our, pushing everything our way. So it doesn't matter what, I don't care what he has over there, we just can't see it. So if we put up like 10 pieces, that can take care of not making our side look like something.
Okay, thank you.
Just curious, sometimes arborvitae's are a better option because they.
It's all rooted there.
Oh, is it?
So I'd have to mound them up and, yeah,
Okay.
so that, we thought of that, but you figured a white fence that would, the plastic ones,
Yeah.
the nice ones,
Final, yeah.
yeah, that would last for a long
Yeah,
time.
they do, yeah.
And it would just look nice, and then maybe, once I get that, maybe I can bring in some dirt and bring the arborvitae's in front of that
Yeah.
periodically or something.
Or put some roses in front of it, yeah. whatever.
something.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, once, yeah,
Something easy, yeah.
you don't have to tell me about the plan.
Yeah.
It's a little addiction, but yeah,
Good for
let's
you.
start with the fence first.
All right. I just need a motion. Any discussion? We're good? Looking for a motion to approve.
Motion approved, Zalanski.
Doctor approved, made a motion.
Karen DeMayo, second.
Karen seconded. All those in favor, Joe Didi, aye.
Dr. Zalanski. David Matthew.
Sherry Knowles and I. Karen DeMayo, aye.
Robert Horacek.
Okay, and up next, you're looking for a trailer same thing, the dollar value kind of is over the threshold, so Carl wanted you to come in front of us. And that is to tow behind your existing tractor to make.
Right now, we have 14 garbage cans, that we take care of in the new cemetery. We have 3 big ones that will be out in the old cemetery. And right now, we don't have, none of the workers and myself have a truck. So we just throw it on our back of our car. Mine just got trashed big time a couple weeks ago. And I'm still trying to get the smell out because the people throwing their, like going to McDonald's and everyone just throws out and whatever's in their car.
Hmm.
So I'm just not doing it no more. So, and it's a lot of trash once a week. So I figured this cart would do multiple things. We could use it to bring over all our chemicals that are in big 5-gallon things instead of lifting them and carrying them. We can bring those over to the old cemetery when we're cleaning that. It'll help Gene Theroux because he's, you know, getting older and he won't have to, he can just park it behind his truck, and so it'll be a multi-use thing, and then most of the time, we're gonna be using it, to just go to the dump. Behind one of our, it's one of those smaller ones, it's not a big 7-8 footer,
Yeah.
but it's a smaller one that just hooks up to the ball, the back of your car.
Well, right,
It requires a
Yeah.
trailer hitch.
It does, and
A
I
lot of
think
cars have
because we go, because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
leave the cemetery for like 3 seconds and go up the
5%.
road, I think we have to register it. So, so Laura's gonna have to, Carl said Laura will have to find that line item. That we paid for that, what is it, $29 or $30 a year to register it? We always had the money in the big account that they had for 50 years, and now between Laura and I, we're trying to manage more line items that make more sense instead of putting it all in one, so it's a couple years in the running, but we're getting there, we're just critiquing it. A little bit more every year, we find one more thing that we don't really have a line item for, so that's it.
Any other discussion? Wonderful, I'm looking for a motion.
Robert Roderick, motion.
Karen DeMaio, second.
Right, so Robert made the motion, Karen seconded it. All those in favor, Joe DDI.
David Matthew.
Sherry Knowlton, I. Karen DeMaio.
Robert Roderick, aye.
Thank you. Great, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And
Good night. Good night.
while we're on the subject, we also have one for. We have a reserve fund transfer. It's Wally Park for 3,000. There's a water line that broke a while back and they finally found it, and yes, it was under the sidewalk. Right, so last year with 5,000 to repair the sidewalk. This year, they put the forms up, and my understanding is, Homey Concrete's gonna. They have plenty of work in town, so they're just gonna add to the load. That's why it's only 3,000 instead of 5,000.
Thank you.
And on something else.
Yeah.
So we do need to, if you guys would like to approve it, we need a motion to approve that.
Motion, Dr. Zawinski.
I made a motion,
Seconded Karen DeMaio.
Karen seconded it. All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zawinski. David Matthew.
Sherry Knowlton, I. Karen DeMaio.
Robert Roderick, aye.
All right, guys, so that takes care of that stuff. It's literally all that stuff, and we'll sign this later. Okay. So first up, we would like to do. You want us to do the packet first, Laura?
The budget.
The budget, yes.
Yes.
All right, so. It's the one article. I only knew what I was looking at, right? This one here, everybody.
Yep.
You're already in. Okay. So we've already approved everything. Tonight, we need to just basically reapprove or reaffirm. I'm just gonna say we're gonna make motions and approve it. Laura, do you want us to go page by page? What are your thoughts?
I just think going through, looking through, and then when you get to the total general government, where there's totals,
Okay,
that's where we could do
all
a
right.
motion, so like on page 6.
So 1, 2. 5 wasn't
I
more,
think that's how we go through it.
Yeah.
Town meeting, yeah.
right? All right, so any questions on page 1 through 6? All right, I'm gonna entertain a motion to approve as well.
Karen, may I have a second?
The doctor and Karen, all right, all those in favor, Joe DDI.
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen, may I?
Robert Rottrick,
And that was for what,
That was.
general.
general government, thank you.
Next one's on top of 11,
Next.
total public safety.
So the police has 2 or 3 new officers.
All right, let's have that discussion.
Okay.
So they hired one, right, and we were going round and round
Yeah,
trying to
we
figure
knew
out
about
life. So they hired one, which they technically didn't finance all the way through. So that funding source that we used took care of the young man that just started and 2 new. So in the end, there's really 3. 1 is already started. There's
Okay.
there's 2 open positions. Now, mind you, over here, we have, yeah, it's a dispatch money, but there's issues with some officers with injuries and whatnot. So depending on how that plays out. If someone ends up retiring or what have you, then that will be another replacement. Like that funding has already been there. It's still there. It doesn't go away.
Okay,
If
so that would
only-
be a 4th new.
That would be a 4th new one.
Okay.
And we don't know where we're headed in that direction. Just an FYI. Should things not work out for whoever, then there'll be a 4th officer. So right now they're down that officer. They're down 3. I know
Okay,
there's
so-
3 that are out.
There's 3 that are out. If
Yes.
one,
4.
if they,
Well, actually 4, right?
4.
4 that are out. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Well, you got the 4th is out for 3 months for sure. Well, it can't work. It's
Wow.
sequestered.
Not working.
They're just
No,
getting
it's
hit left
sequestered.
and
You
right.
can't.
Yeah.
Can't work.
Oh, wow.
Is it actually sequestered for that long?
Yeah,
It's not a grand jury?
it is a grand jury,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. crazy.
Um,
So, yes, so we
so,
have,
and so that one will be coming back. That's not the issue. The
Right.
3 of them, whether if they come back, fine. If they don't come back for one reason or
Right.
another, we will be replacing them. So these 3 are in addition,
these are in addition,
in
exactly.
addition to those
Right.
positions.
Whatever else is happening in their world today, those funding sources exist, they stay there. They don't go away. So should there be replacement issues, they're already funded.
Okay.
So the bottom line is, and within 2 years, we're gonna have a pretty young department. That's,
What's the total strength after these 3? Of the
I,
total number of
22.
it's 22
I
now.
think. I'm not sure.
22,
I think
25.
I remember those 18 like existing, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3
Low
plus
20s.
3,
Right.
yeah, okay.
And none of this, as Dave found out, none of this helps response time. It's simply managing
Mhm.
our issues that we currently have with overtime, and it's not even the overtime. They're just exhausted.
Yeah.
You can only get so much out of a body.
Right.
You know, I don't care how young these kids are. And they're not the kids that we were. They're smarter.
Mhm.
They're not dumb. They don't work 100 hours a week. And retire with 1,000,000 hours in overtime that they never used. Those days are gone. These kids are taking their time like they should. They deserve it. They've earned it.
Yeah,
So-
work-life balance is.
Yeah, they're not. They're not sitting in a finance committee meeting at 6 o'clock at night in their 50s. No, they're not. They're not. Okay. All right, so that was up to page 11, you said?
That was.
Yes, yeah, it gives you total public safety.
Yep,
So it has
so
bio-
a motion for
and everything.
total public safety.
Motion, Dr. Zawinski.
Karen, to my second.
It's got that, okay, all those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zawinski.
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen, to my.
Robert Rottrick, aye.
Thank you.
15.
Yep, 15, and that's public works,
Sewer.
public works and sewer.
Well, they're both on page 2.
I got you. Okay. So I need a motion.
Motion, Dr. Zawinski.
Second, Karen, to my.
Thank you, Karen. All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zawinski.
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen, to my.
Robert Rottrick, aye.
18.
And that was for gold. Both of the DPW and
And we could sewer.
the environmental.
Was it?
Okay, it's different than sewer.
They're on the same.
Oh,
Yeah, other environmental.
Okay. Yeah.
Sewer
Oh, that's right.
implementation.
Yes,
Sewer
it's
implement,
environment.
Different than regular sewer.
it is.
Yeah.
So you added it to it. We're good on your end. You want us to redo it?
Environmental. If you can just do environmental.
Sure.
Do I need a motion for the sewer environmental part?
Dr. Zalowski, motion.
Second.
Wonderful. All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine,
Robert Rogers.
Thank you. And now we're at page,
total.
15.
18.
Oh, excuse me.
that's,
Oh, no, isn't it?
Nothing.
15, top of,
15.
yeah, top of 15 says human resources.
human
I,
resources.
I misread my 15,
Mhm.
that's the 13 by mistake, and I was confused. Oh, good, I'm not the only one.
Human resources,
Services.
services.
This
This caused a lot-
salaries.
this caused a lot of chatter today, and I gotta figure out why it caused chatter.
It went down.
No, hey, you be, I don't, well, this is we're not gonna just smile. Yeah, I have no idea why it caused chatter. Okay, so human. Services.
So when we vote on which number are we voting on, the FinCom or the total? Oh, excuse me, the FinCom, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So total for human services? Correct, Laura?
Yeah.
Yep. I need a motion.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Second, Karen Devine,
All right, all those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine,
Robert Rogers.
Thank you. Now 18.
18.
16.
16.
16.
The next
Total
page.
commercial and recreation.
Those were all good. We didn't have anything with those.
That's right. Yeah.
16.
Hmm? For the Fonda, yeah, I think August 11th-ish.
Difference in 20. Difference of 31. 27, 37, 47, 57. 30.
All right, so page 16,
Mhm.
we're gonna go for account name. Park and Rec.
Culture
That's
and
culture and recreation.
On the bottom.
It is culture and recreation. Thank you. I need a motion.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Karen Devine, second.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine,
Robert Rogers.
Thank you.
17.
Seventeen is the interest.
Eighteen is the
Just the interest.
interest,
Yeah.
debt and interest and insurance, yeah.
You okay with that, Laura? Okay. I need a motion for interest and insurance.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Doctor made the motion.
second, Karen Devine,
Karen seconded it. All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine,
Robert Rogers.
All right, so 18.
and then just the grand.
The grand total.
Okay. The grand total, and what do you want the amount? 12,792,744 dollars. Need a motion?
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Second, Karen Devine,
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine,
Robert Rogers.
Thank you. And 19, elected salaries. And operations.
This is all water.
Yeah. You want 19 by itself?
no, you can do all of one, I think all of
Okay.
them there together.
All right,
One. Little water.
General water and sewer.
Grand total.
so grand total water,
Just water, you know, and we do water and then do
all right,
sewer.
so I'll say page 19 and page 20. Grand total water division. $1,574,333.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Doctor made the
Karen
motion.
Bass.
Karen seconded it. All those in favor? Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski.
David Murphy, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Bass.
Robert Rochak, aye.
Thank you. And now we're on. So just an FYI, water and sewer were, how do I say this nicely? They were pretty much upside down in their numbers by about 70,000 each. So what we went back in, me and Laura and our DPW director took a few things out, moved a few things around. He's gonna have to go up on his rates. And we got it where it's manageable. So we did, it was off. So we fixed it for what it's worth this year, but he's definitely gonna come in and have to go up on his rates to make his numbers work. You know what I mean? Like the pump station, we ended up taking right out the 400,000. It just, it couldn't, those numbers didn't manage themselves properly in the end. So
So no pump, upgrade?
there's no, can't spend it if you ain't got it. There's tough decisions there to be made, so he's got to relook at what much debt he's got rolling off
Mhm.
coming up the next year. And then the price increase.
So
And it-
even this year, this coming fiscal year, there's gonna be
July.
a price increase for our water?
Well, not right away, but they're gonna have to look at it. Yeah, they have to.
Okay.
The bigger problem is, everything's based on earnings coming in, right? It's a business. You're selling water. So as soon as you put a drought into place and tell them we can't use water, your earnings aren't gonna be there. You can't use water. There's no overuse. So therefore, if he's budgeted, $7 and with the warning, he can only produce $3.
The last year, because I think
Right.
our moratorium went into effect like the last week of May, something
Right,
ridiculous.
It did.
So that
So he did
hurt
not, he
him.
didn't match his numbers last year. And he's, or very well, probably got close, but he didn't match him, and this year is no better.
Is that why
Yeah.
there's $150,000 difference?
There isn't.
Yes, there is.
Is
That's
there-
in the. That's in the sewer.
I-
That's in the sewer,
That's in the sewer side,
Oh,
yeah,
that they. cleaned
but
it.
water and sewer are both off by 70,000 and change. So we adjusted, we sat down.
So how much are the sewer rates gonna go up? from a
Listen,
septic
listen,
unit?
we're here to, we're on numbers, boy, don't take it personal, it's okay? If you're on those things, hey, what can I tell you? I'm on water, I get it.
I'm just coming to town hall to use the bathroom.
Well, FYI, Wally Park's always open, if it's closer.
There you go.
I use the waters, but I don't use the sewers. That's why I'm saying, how much is the sewer rate?
The sewer is based off your water usage, that's the killer. It literally is, it's not like there's a sewer meter, it's based off how much water you use when you're watering sewer. So if you're watering your lawn, you're paying a sewer fee to that. Yeah, if you have, if you're not on sewer, then it doesn't
But
matter.
the
Right,
rates
right.
can still go on.
It can, and it will. I promise you. It's an interesting scenario, because last year I was nicely told, because I was in a different position, that he does come in front of the board with rough ideas of what he would like to see. And that the select board does vote on that. It was brought to my attention that even though they voted on it, they probably didn't vote for enough money last year. And therefore, or we have a negative. And nothing was ever in my life said to me that there's a threshold you need to meet to keep us current, the blah, 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 on the taxpayers, they didn't want to hurt them, so you'd say we do 3% instead of 20%, well, come to find out, it should have been 8%. Because the 3% never touched the bottom line, period. So I was informed about that this week, so I'll make sure that the people upstairs know it's gotta be a real percentage, and yes, it hurts, and we're sorry.
So we got a low tax rate, but a high water rate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So you get hit one place or another.
welcome to Southwick, how are you today? Voted #1 in New England there a couple years ago, they told me. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna do sewer, which is page 21. And that's it. All right, so I need a motion for grand total for sewer division, $1,327,043.
Motion, Dr. Jones.
What's that?
Dollars.
Oh, I am so sorry, $1,327,043. Southwick Education, sorry.
Oh, hey,
Yeah, so as a motion, Karen, is there a second?
Second is,
Thank you. All those in favor, Joe DDI. aye.
Dr. Zalewski,
David Matthews.
Sherry Knowlton, I'm.
Karen Devine.
Robert Rochak, aye.
EMS is next. It's one page. The EMS grand total is $1,297,362. Need a motion on. Doctor, I need a motion.
oh, motion, Dr. Zalewski.
Thank you.
Second, Karen.
I don't want to throw, which is they've been doing, so. Okay, all those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalewski,
David Matthews.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine.
Robert Rochak, aye.
All right. Is that everything, Laura?
The budget, the others is just informational.
Yep, so there's your rough tax numbers. Next. The legal limit is 1786. Last year was 1611. And this year it's 1699 roughly, but our new growth may go up, which will then make it better. I am not thrilled with that number one bit, but
Explain it to me, I don't get it.
okay. It-
Short version, you don't have to.
Oh, no, it's all good. So your taxes last year were $16.11
Oh,
per
okay,
thousand.
per on the, okay, yep.
Thank you. Right, property value, property
Mhm,
tax.
mhm.
And this year, depending on what happens, it's gonna be around $16.99. So it's gonna go up 88 cents.
Mhm.
That's what you're looking at.
Okay,
What's the levy limit,
1786.
which means,
That's how much we
Oh.
could have gone.
up to,
Right.
per top, up to.
Yes. Yes.
And that's next year, they should hit that to that.
Well, so I did bring up at the meeting yesterday as I was driving, that, I didn't get my way, I wanted the dump truck taken away, 175,000. If you go to the next page, everyone, I believe this is water and sewer usage. Okay, you don't have it, so basically, so Laura, am I saying it right? Our free cash rollover is
Okay,
80.
So the free cash,
That's
the rollover amount is $854,000.
for 854. Mr. Steinhardt's rule of thumb has always been $1 million we roll over. So we're not rolling over $1 million. There's a truck in here for 175 coming out of free cash that I had asked, we begged yesterday to get rid of the truck. That 175 would have brought us $1,030,000 or something I had figured out last night. And that would make this finance committee very happy that we're rolling over $1 million like we've done it for years in the past. I did not get my way. And I even tried flipping a coin. I did win the coin bet, but it wasn't for the truck. So,
There is a page in here for that free cash, so there's
You found it? Okay.
snow and ice deficit 235, so that means we already spent that, so we're moving it from free cash.
yep, so yes.
Okay, so that's fine, because we already spent that.
we already spent that. And some of that though is to restock the ice, the salt for this coming year, which is great. Because I tried taking some out of there and then there wasn't enough room for me to do that.
Okay.
So that's what that is.
OPEB or?
That's a,
That's our, OPEB, that's our.
it's our retirement.
No, it's the insurance retirement.
Yeah, retirement
Other.
Okay, so that's,
for the full-time employees. And,
Yeah.
and we owe a lot of money there. So all we do is kiss it every year. Personally, we should be putting a lot more into that than we are.
all right, so
And
it was the
then-
dump truck and paving.
Right, the dump truck is my 175 I was trying to get out last night. And the 500,000 is for paving. It goes towards the $1 million we're gonna bond, and then there's another 380 sitting in chapter 9 funds. Which gets us to the 1.38 something,
Okay.
okay?
Okay,
So the free cash is like annually you shoot for $1 million, like,
Well, you try to leave $1 million
sure,
towards the tax base.
sure. And then how did it get up to 3.8? Is,
It's just new, so your funds are certified the year after, correct?
Yeah,
Right, so these are last year's we're always a year behind when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So at the end of this deal, we'll find out when they do our free cash certified, maybe it's 3 million, some years it's been 4,
Okay,
some years it's been 2.
Yeah.
The funny part is the tighter we get with budgets, the less rollover you're gonna get. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, you know, some departments do not use all their money. It does go right back into the town coffer,
right,
which is then certified as free cash for the following year.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, as we get squeaky.
Yeah.
Our free cash may also get squeaky because we're not gonna have as much rollover if we hold every nickel and dime, which is fine. I'm not against it.
but somehow it starts as 1 million and then it becomes 3 times that or 4 times that, yeah, and that is. How, I mean, you know, investments, right? So-
Investments, new growth,
Okay.
stuff that we don't account for.
Okay. all right,
Yeah,
things that-
receivables coming in,
Okay, I got you.
right,
Everything else, everything that isn't spent
Right.
ends up getting thrown back
right.
in.
So we'll fund planning, we'll fund building inspector. His permit fees come back into our coffer,
Okay.
even though we paid out his
Okay,
payroll.
right.
You know what I mean?
So the 1 million is a seed, you know, but
Yes.
everything else is like fertilizer.
Right, and we could drop it down to $100.
Yeah.
And roll the dice.
Right.
Probably not a good move.
Yeah.
You know, it gives us some kind of
Yeah.
cushion. And that million, now, how much we put towards the tax base? Is that the same? That's different.
Well, towards, when you put in. We're estimating. For non-recurring, 300,000 and then. for I think it should be the reverse.
Yeah.
But, it's 1,757,000.
So we roll over into our tax base, 1 million. Forever and change,
Yeah.
which in theory, if you really want to get crazy. We're helping our tax rate. Because that's, we're putting that towards our tax rate, which technically lowers our tax rate.
Yeah.
So we're,
Yeah.
you know,
Right,
if you want to get crazy, we're helping ourselves there. So we're, we're inflating, not inflating.
yeah,
You know, which works for this town. I'm not against it.
Yeah.
But someone would say that's really not your real tax rate because you put money back in every year.
right,
Because you have the ability to do that,
yeah,
you know, I
Right.
mean, you could take that money, maybe put it in our rainy day fund.
Yeah.
And then bring taxes up higher. I don't know,
Right.
I just don't know what, what town do you want to be?
yeah, exactly.
Where do we want to
The
head?
risk with that is
And
somebody's gonna spend it on something that nobody else wanted, but they just happen to be.
Right.
In the right place at the right time and say.
right, and it takes a lot to get money out of our, what is it called, meeting our stabilization, thank you. It's not a quickie,
Yeah.
but it does take work to get it out.
That's good info.
I don't know if it's good info, it's scary info, actually, because if you change the dynamics of this town, that also change this board. And in time, and that's fine, it happens,
Okay.
but we may be conservative and kind of really want to watch our pennies for a reason. Your next group 10 years from now could be completely different and that's,
Absolutely.
it's all part of it, so get your damn kids involved. Sorry. All right, so we understand all that, guys?
Yes.
Okay, and then let's look at this page here. We have this,
Yeah.
all right,
I was gonna ask a question from.
yes, please.
About a couple pages earlier on this, annual town budget.
Yeah.
Meeting figures. What is the percentage increase in our budget, not including the schools, right before the school? What, the schools is up 6.31%. What is the rest of the budget? That's what I'm.
Aaron's on it.
A 3.6% increase in the budget that does not include the schools, and the schools were up 6.3, almost double.
Karen?
Okay, no, I'm just,
I don't, no,
I'm throwing it out there because I'm sure nobody did the
No, we didn't.
calculation.
We
I
didn't.
just.
Yeah, no, and if you listen, and then I do suggest you guys, when the meeting will probably be up today or tomorrow, listen to it. Honestly, because I brought the schools up too. If I was gonna lose the dump truck and I was already going down, I was all in at that point, and it's a very tight table up there. so they could hear me very clearly. I got my point across rather well. But same thing, we basically said, the dump truck stayed in because they think next year is gonna be a thin year, and I laughed and said, thin year. We're gonna go for a level funded budget, there's no new equipment next year, nothing. Understood, employees, poof, we ain't adding on, we gotta add Mr. Steinhardt's position as life goes on. That's it, we're done, and in your school, until you can control your school system, we're done. I'm not gonna sit here and go week after week like we do, and we do a great job. I think this year was extremely impressive personally, my first year sitting here. And I appreciate you allowing me to sit here, I think, thanks, Doc. And I do appreciate it, and I truly do, but, we don't work this hard to watch 6% of the school, and that's nothing against the school, I get, they have rules, the state is the state. This vision of small town funding that they think is gonna come their way someday is great. We don't see it, and I don't see it, none of us see it, so we can't wait for that. So they gotta do either, and I'll say it, Proposition 2.5, I don't care. They need to look at the bigger picture all the way around for that school system. All of it, and I nicely said to them, I don't want this discussion next year at this time as we're talking about it. You know, we'll get through our May elections and let's go now. This has to happen now. So when we come into next year, we all have a plan, because we're not funding anything extra next year. I already told them.
I think they know how much their costs have increased, but it's kind of like family or my kids, they may not watch how much they spend because they've got the bank and mom and dad as a fallback.
Mhm.
And the town is
Understood.
kind of like the bank of mom and dad
Yeah.
fallback. They might look at it, but
Understood.
how much are they really looking at
Yeah,
how other departments are sacrificing?
they're not. They're compassionate for what they have.
Right.
And I agree with that. That's their system. And they are compassionate and they're doing a great job. It's just getting to where it's gonna really affect the rest of this town.
Yes,
It's
it is.
doing it this year.
Yes, and
It's doing it
it's
this
just
year.
gonna get worse.
Right,
yes.
it's just gonna get a lot worse. So we're gonna tackle that next year, and if you guys don't wanna tackle it, send your resignations in, I'll gladly accept them. Cause it's gonna be I don't swear anymore, but you know where I'm gonna go, and I'm not gonna go there. So, yeah, so we're in for a fight next year, and I plan on fighting. I'm sorry. Or maybe they can get me out. Let's see. All right, so our next page is, sir, this is basically our tax rate. And at the end of the day, we are $1,634,052.27 below our tax levy. You know what that means? That means that we've left that much money on the table over the years. So is it 10 cents a thousand, Laura? No, 100 grand, right?
100.
So that's 16, so that'd be $1.60 more on our tax rate. Literally, if this town wasn't conservative, if this town didn't watch its P's and Q's, you'd be up that much more right now. So that's kudos to you guys, the select board, everyone that does watch their nickels and dimes. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Even the debt exclusion with the schools, when the schools all came through and they passed all that, we never went back for that debt exclusion as a town. We never did it. We absorbed it, right? We literally have. So we've left plenty on the table, but I think that's why it's $1.3 million in the next line item that we could have grabbed just because of the school deal. We never did that. So,
And I'll tell you, I mean, for the people that have been here doing this job for 12 years or 11 years, that we've been under limit with a pretty good chunk of money.
Yeah.
consistently.
actually, it is. It is. It really is. And I'm fortunate I was 9 of those years. So, yeah. You know, and we do look at, you know, in the old world, we do look at the tax rate every time and we try to keep it low. We do have seniors in this town. We do not have young people moving to this town. We don't have the starter homes that we used to have. We just don't. But, you know, the inflation, the world that we live in today is not allowing that, and I don't know that answer. I don't need to know that
Yeah,
answer.
because all the new houses going up on my road are 600,000.
Yeah, it just are, and somehow people are affording it.
I don't know how.
Yeah, I didn't get educated that, but no regrets. So yeah, so that's what that's about. So you there. And think that's all I got here. Is that all? That's everything for the budget.
For the budget.
This makes Laura happy, right?
Yeah.
Laura's happy?
Yes, no.
Laura's happy, we're all happy. Keep you smiling. Not telling you to was all Novocaine up, but she's smiling, that's all that matters.
That's before I came here.
Oh, I
That's
think
a
that.
bummer.
That's awesome. All right, so up next. We have, we gotta do pros and cons. How do you wanna do them? Everyone excited about pros and cons? Well, we got pretty quiet.
Sure, why not?
Okay,
What are we going on?
so Lita, right? I said it correctly, Lita? Okay, she went to last night's select board meeting. She stopped them on her flight out of town. And nicely asked her, if she could help us with pros and cons. So she did them.
Hmm.
They are not final. We can beat them up, do whatever you want. It's a base. Okay, the only one she didn't do was the barn. We'll go through the warrant articles. You guys have these already? I have two extra. Other than the two that aren't here. Right? Paul Connolly and
Maybe, yes.
Lita. You guys need them?
So we only do the ones that have monetary value, and that's why it starts with 9. One is balance, 2 is.
And I've never done this, that's why we're looking at this together to get a gist of what your thoughts are.
Tony, I was gonna be 3.5.
No, paving is 1.88
Oh,
something. Oh,
Mhm.
we went in at 3 million. And they were a little offended that, we put the pressure on the selectmen. Which I was told, so. They don't even know what pressure is yet. They've created a monster. Okay. So. The warrant articles also. If you need to read them, they're there. So number 9,
Saying she's right from last year.
that's what she said. She goes, I gave her a copy of last year's student said,
Yeah,
Does this help?
because some of them are standard,
Yeah.
okay,
yeah, from over the years.
thank you, Karen.
Well, the only, this, I'm not picking on anybody, but when I just read these.
Yep.
Right out of the gate. A pro. Is both a pro and a con should be. The opposite sides of approving this. But this says a pro for approving it is blah, 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 and a con for disapproving it. Well, those are both pros. You see what I'm saying? So really, to be true to a pro and a con, you have to reflect on the pro for approving it and the con for approving it.
All right,
You not following?
No,
Mm,
Makes sense.
no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
These are both pros.
right, so how would you redo the bottom one? then?
You would just say, the con for approving it would mean the town will, taxpayers will incur more. A higher rate than they did before, or whatever that is, or
Okay,
that's all, to be true to a pro and a con, otherwise
So
it's
make
just.
some notes and then.
Oh, yeah, exactly, I'm not,
no, and that's what this is for.
I gotta think about it and I'll
Yep.
come up with one, but.
Yep, that's fine. So that's what I kind of want to say
I get you.
is we have these for the week, because we're meeting next Tuesday to do these,
Okay,
okay? So everyone has a copy,
yep.
take a pencil, beat them up. To where you want, I'm sure, no, but just, it's just easier, isn't it? Or do you want to sit here for 3 hours and go over them?
No, that's
I
okay.
think we go home, we look at them. We come back next Tuesday and then we'll spend some time and do one, and that's good for you, Laura? She's giving me that look.
Well, no, I just, in the past. Some people have volunteered for certain ones.
Okay, we can do that too, I guess.
Or, it's
Yeah.
however you
How many
guys
do we have
wanna
to do?
do them, and
Alicia, how many years there? That's the first question.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah, there's a lot.
5,
Is it everything that she did?
6, 7, 8, 10,
14.
12, 13, 14, 15.
Oh, I must have missed one.
If there's 15 of them. And how many are standard? You know, it's pretty much all set.
There's only about 9. And 10 are standard.
9 and 10 are standard.
I mean, 11 would be kind of a standard. 12. So they're in there every year.
Right.
The Allen treatment, that's becoming
standard.
standard.
And 14 is new. 15 is new. 17 is also new.
14 is new.
So that's another discussion. So when it comes to CPC stuff, guys,
Mhm.
are we basically just gonna come out and say the funding is available? Or are we taking a role in whether it's a pro or a con? Because it's the taxpayer money side of it is already spent. Right? It's not, we're not funding this,
Right.
it's
And they're
funded
not voting.
Oh, they funded it, right, that's
through CPC funds.
existing CPC funds, they're not borrowing any.
Nope, I don't believe they're
additional-
borrowing anything. Right, because then there would be, down further, there would be another one for the borrowing authorization, and that's not there,
Yeah, it was that thing that came from Comcast or wherever. It was that fund.
not for that. No,
Oh, no, it's
CPC
down.
by itself is CPC,
Oh.
Community Preservation Act.
Oh, I got you.
Later, there's one for the Comcast side, I'm sure.
Yeah, I thought there was something else.
There was funding for that, yeah. So what do you normally do? I mean, I know in the past, there's heated discussion over CPC. And don't quote me, but I believe I talked to I talked to her, you got two options. We can either say, yes, the funding is available. And if you do have a personal opinion, you can raise your hand as a resident and discuss that personal opinion on the town floor. Or we sit here and vote whether we want to approve or disapprove of all these. I don't know how muddy you want the water to be. Is what it comes down to. I like long walks on the beach. So that's where I come from. I'm not gonna go tick for tack over CPC stuff.
Mhm.
Funding is available. I don't think it's up to us to sit there and be that negative or positive, other than yes, funds are available. I don't know. That's just me. I don't like fighting over.
Lita has heard, like, in the past, we
Yeah.
divvied them up, nobody took it and did a first draft.
Yeah.
So this is already different, that Alita did the first draft.
Right.
So I think each one of us should read this
Absolutely.
over the week, if we have even any changes.
Mhm.
And then next week we come and we discuss our changes
Yeah.
and we vote on,
Yes, absolutely.
yes.
Right. My question though is, are we for CPC stuff, or what's the board?
So,
And don't answer us today. Let's just think about that. Are we looking for saying funding's available, or are we gonna sit there and take positions on them? I know on the financial stuff, we have to take positions, but to me, this is a funded source.
Right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that at least on the Wally Park, I think we're gonna have to take a position on that one.
Okay.
Because as Alita said, there's operating expenses going forward too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just like restoration of bronze memorial plaque. You
Done.
hire somebody and it's done.
Right.
Morehouse repair, so something that's done. This is adding more expense to their budget. So I think this one, we are
Okay.
gonna really have to.
Right. And unfortunately, as we went through the budget process, there's no added expenses in that budget for this. Which is crazy. They feel it's gonna run
Right,
itself.
so they would probably do it this year, so the added expense would come in next year's budget.
Yep.
But what if we can't afford it?
We're gonna have to work because it's done.
Because it would already be done.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the point we're gonna have to stress whether we say we're for it or against it. Just taking a quick look at everything that's CPC here, that is the
Only
only
one,
one that
right.
really
Understood,
warrants something from us.
right, continually. Right, it's going to cause some kind of drain
Just
of
because
budget.
we know what is coming next year.
Just the water usage alone. We pay for our water, each department pays for their water. That's why Wally talked about wells in years ago, because the water bill was crazy when they first started seeding. And 1 year's worth of water bill paid for those wells. And now their water bill is 4,000 a year, whatever, right? It worked. That process did work.
So the water piece of it will not be the real issue. It's gonna be the maintenance costs, the insurance premiums, and any kind of liability, any of the damage. to be
Yeah,
done there.
vandalism, oh yeah, yeah, no doubt. Okay, so we'll mock that one up for sure. And then regional school, Article 19. It's pretty much the same, right? It's on every year. Article 20. It's debt authorization. That's the same every year, correct? Well, it goes
Yeah,
down or
yeah.
up, but yeah, it's the same,
With the-
same verbiage. Road construction is the million we talked about. Fiber optic broadband. That is new. $37, the dump truck and the plow. No. So. So does anyone want to, either one, or we'll just, everyone pick them apart a little bit? What are your thoughts?
I think everybody should probably pick them apart
Yeah,
and read them.
yeah.
Since-
At least read them, then you'll. at
Since
least
the
under-
draft is already done.
Yeah.
It's not like we're assigning it to somebody to draft.
Right. Okay,
And just to follow up on my earlier comment, if there's not a con, we don't have to. We can just say that, we can say, define it, you can list the pros and then for the cons, if we don't think there's any downside to doing this, if it's all upside, it's the right thing to do, you can say the finance committee. Does not think that there's any cons associated with this vote.
right,
Doesn't,
and I'm fine with that. I don't know what I'm saying anyway, so it'll be fine. Okay. Any other questions on this?
And that was the annual town meeting, plus we have the special town.
Yep.
meeting. And I guess, are we're going to go through each warrant article and make your recommend, whether you approve the warrant article as it's written.
For both special and regular?
Yeah,
Okay. So the special first, Article 2. Do we need to do pros and cons on these? Because there's money,
yeah, we do pros and cons.
okay, so we have to add Article 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, good.
The first one to see the appropriation transfer available funds, for this is all free cash. Yeah, 235,000. That's for snow and ice. Hands if we're for it,
they're gonna vote.
yeah, I guess, I mean, she wants to vote yes or no on them, so, Right.
Just read them again.
will that work by hand, Laura, or do you want me to?
We probably need to do.
Okay. So all those in favor of this, Joe DDI,
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Milton, I.
Karen, can I,
Rubber Rajaka.
thank you, Article 3. Is the OPEB, transfer funds, free cash, 25,000. Post-employment benefits. Which is chapter 32B, section 20. All those in favor, say aye, Joe DDI,
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Milton, I.
Karen, can I,
Rubber Rajaka.
that also comes out of free cash. Article 4, see the town will will vote to appropriate and transfer from the available funds free cash the sum of 675,000 for the following capital items or to take any other action off of their
Now, this is being taken together, so can somebody alter it on the town floor and take out the one-ton pickup truck?
They probably could, but I honestly said to them after last night's fight was, as a board, we'll support the select board, that is our job. So I personally have no interest in doing that. I know I lost, I'm okay with that. I learned from my mistakes. So next year, and they're right, if we don't do it this year, they are right, they aren't getting it next year. I could promise them the moon upstairs, I would be lying through my teeth. So they either get it now or they're not gonna get it, because next year I don't see us putting any equipment forward. We're not gonna be able, can't afford to. You know, unless there's some miracle that we haven't heard about yet. We're gonna be really tight next year, and hopefully your support's there, and if it's not, I get it, but my mindset moving forward.
Mhm.
Will be tight.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm at.
I'm just.
No, it's
Curious
great
if
conversation,
somebody-
and I'm sure I'm sure one of them will listen to this tape later. So,
And, you know, it's interesting because you asked that is.
Yeah.
This is a pair, so you can say, I don't like Article 4 and ask the town to vote to exclude that or whatever, but,
right,
you can't say, I like the
hairs.
paving, but I don't like the truck,
right,
because it's one article.
I'll leave the 175 in and.
No, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Right.
At town hall, can somebody stand
Town-
up?
town
Can
meeting,
somebody
right.
stand up at town meeting? Can somebody stand up and say, I'd like to alter this and remove the 175 to the one ton? Then everybody votes to.
Right,
Remove it,
I'm in
and
it
then
on
they
the
do-
floor, I'm
Can
sure,
they do it? Can
I'm
they do
sure you
that?
probably can.
Oh.
All right.
Why wouldn't you? But I wouldn't even do that. I would amend it to for highway road machinery, one ton pickup to say paving. If I wanna get nutty, right?
Well, then they wouldn't be able to buy a truck with it, they'd have to spend on.
Paving.
Paving.
Right, so we got our paving number up. But yeah, we're not gonna do
That
that.
was, no, that was just. a
That was tongue in cheek,
question. And if we-
trying to be funny, I'm sorry. All right, so I need approval of Article 4. All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Roger Zelowski, aye.
David Mackey, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen to my eye.
Robert Wright, okay.
So did you do Article 1?
No, I did not. That was a test for you, Laura. I always wanted to make sure to swallow, you're feeling better. We appreciate that.
Mhm.
All right. To see if the town will vote to appropriate and transfer from available funds. General fund, salary reserve, EMS, water and sewer, salary reserves. I'm sorry, water and sewer salary reserves, the sum of 83,000, 83,
1,000, yeah.
where does it say, $3,700 for the following salary. Counts. They are listed below.
So this is in addition to some of the overtime that we've already.
Yes.
This is in addition to, yeah, over and above, okay.
And some of it's just a little bit that they went over on, but
What this does, correct me if I'm wrong, Laura, this basically cleans up any loose ends for the year.
Yes.
So if there's overtime involved and it wasn't budgeted per se, but not enough to go for a salary reserve transfer,
Yeah.
it ends up here,
It ends up- yeah.
right? Because I'm seeing all kinds of different little things, you know. Lake management clerical, $150, like that's not a pay raise, that's cleaning up what we're off by the end of the year, okay.
So, yeah, it could be, what was the town hall custodial salaries? In overtime incurred for, I can see the police department, the EMS.
Honestly,
but
that
one was,
that was probably the roofing project that exists right now. And there was a few other things happening internally here, where I know they had to come in on Sundays and they had to work nights.
okay,
So even like this roofing project we're on now, they're coming in at 6 AM now to unlock it for those folks to be in here. So one of them are coming in and again, of course. Most departments can actually get paid for the time they work, and as we found out with Park and Rec, there's a young lady there that never got paid to go do the Easter egg hunt. Or any other stuff she's done for years. And, I guess they finally figured that out, so geez, you should be getting paid those 3 hours, and some of that does probably appear in here,
okay,
you know.
no, because all the other ones are small,
Yeah.
reasonable,
Well, yeah.
that one just jumped out at me.
Yep.
Besides the police and EMS, okay.
Right, same with treasurer, collector, clerk, 3,000.
Yeah.
You know. And this is what the squawking was about, so now I found the issue, so I feel better. Good, all right, so I need a motion, I need all those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Solowski,
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine.
Robert Rochak, aye.
And if you ever find something, you have a question about numbers, always reach out to me, because, you know, I am not gonna force accounting to go upstairs right now and find it. But within the week or our next meeting, they'll find whatever we're looking for us, and we'll have it for the next meeting. You know what I mean? But anything like that, anything that sticks out that you can question, simply email it to me, I will get the answers, you know, in a week or so. Okay?
Okay.
At any time.
I didn't think it's, I don't think
Yeah.
anybody.
You don't think- yeah, I was gonna say-
Dr. Motion for Article 1,
Dr. Solowski, motion.
Karen Devine second.
We didn't, we just.
Who voted
we-
before we made the
We
motion?
never made motions all the way through, but,
Motion for any of them.
oh, we didn't make,
No.
right, okay, because,
Oh,
all right,
Yeah, let's-
I need a motion for Article 1.
Dr. Solowski, motion.
Karen Devine second.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Solowski,
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine.
Robert Rochak, aye.
I just thought we were saying yes or no to the warrant articles. Remember, that's what we were doing before, so that's where I was coming from.
yeah.
Okay, so Article 2, I need a motion to approve.
motion, Dr. Solowski,
Second, Karen Devine.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Solowski,
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine.
Robert Rochak, aye.
Very confusing bunch, aren't we? Article 3, that's not my fault. I need a motion to approve.
motion, Dr. Solowski,
Second, Karen Devine.
Joe DDI.
Dr. Solowski,
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine.
Robert Rochak, aye.
Article 4, I need a motion to approve.
motion, Dr. Solowski,
Second, Karen Devine.
Thank you, Joe DDI.
Dr. Solowski,
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine.
Robert Rochak, aye.
You good?
We're good on special town.
Okay,
Now we're
so now we're gonna look at the warrant articles, correct?
But, yeah,
And what do you want us to do with those?
what was them?
A motion to approve.
We have to read each of it, like 1, 2, 3, or is it just the ones that have a financial impact?
Just the financial impact,
Okay,
just the ones that have financial impact. this one.
all right. So do you guys want to look at the articles, or do you want to use our cheat sheet, which is our
Well, the pros and cons are the ones that we're supposed to.
those are the
approve.
ones we're supposed to approve.
But we're not doing that. We are just approving the article as written.
As written, okay,
As
right.
written.
All right, you're right, yeah,
Yeah, that's,
but I'm gonna look at our cheat sheet to tell you what articles they are.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's all. So Article 9
yes.
is our first one. You're more than welcome to look through at the article.
The general budget.
Mhm.
Right, go to the special, that's that. Okay, Article 9, yep. Way to read it, or is everyone comfortable reading it themselves?
We can read it.
Thank you. We good?
Mhm.
Need a motion for Article 9?
motion, Dr. Solowski,
Second, Karen Devine.
Motion to approve, okay, all those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Solowski,
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine.
Robert Rochak, aye.
Thank you. Article 10, Department Revolving Fund Annual Spending Limit Authorization. Which also goes on to the back page. Well, that's standard every year. I need a motion to approve.
motion, Dr. Solowski,
Second, Karen Devine.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Solowski,
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Devine.
Robert Rochak, aye.
Okay, Article number 11 is next. Community Preservation Annual Budget. That is pretty straightforward, what they have left where. I need a motion.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Second, Karen Denial.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Murphy, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Denial.
Robert Rovak, aye.
Thank you.
All right, so I
Yep.
have one
Yeah,
question.
Karen.
So this, the 573, 846 was the amount that they took in this year to disperse. So we do not have what the balance is in each one of those categories.
No, we have what they're putting in, right?
Okay, that's
Correct, Laura?
what they're,
Putting
Yeah.
into each one. On town meeting floor, well, we usually do have what's actually in there, right?
No,
No,
no, we just.
Yep. okay. Karen, would you like to know what's in there?
Yes, I would like to know what's
Right,
in
I'm
there,
gonna get you that. For the board for next week.
since they didn't present it at the budget
Oh,
meetings for us.
that's right. I knew something was
So
missing.
nobody besides the CPC committee actually
Who
knows
knows what's
what
in
they
there.
have, yeah.
Right, and I'm sure they'll tell you it's on their website. It's public knowledge it's somewhere. But I will get you I'll get you.
Thank you.
Also, can we ask, as long as you're asking a question,
Oh, yeah.
is the state shipping in what they promised into the CPC?
So we want to know what the state's percentage was this year.
Are they meeting their commitment?
oh,
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they will meet the commitment, but it just changes each year.
Yeah.
Based
Oh.
on how much money
Oh,
they
really?
take
Yeah.
in for
Okay.
fees. And then they see how many
many communities
towns
are
and cities
involved,
they have
right.
to.
Pretty interesting.
Some years have been very good and some years have been minimal.
Yeah.
But there's
It
definitely
was-
highs and lows.
It was going down, but the last few years, it's actually gone
Gone up.
up.
Hmm.
And I think Boston is one that is now in on the. Of
course they are,
The
yeah.
CPC, so I think people were anticipating the
To go
money to go
down,
down, but
right.
maybe they're pulling it in and it's being dispersed.
But I think the state also chipped in more.
They,
There was a caveat that they threw on the last few years too. Yep. Okay, so that was Article 11. So Article 12 is Community Preservation Committee Administrative and Operating Expenses. Which is $28,692. I need a motion to approve.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
second Karen DeMayo.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Murphy, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen DeMayo, aye.
Robert Rovak, aye.
Thank you. The other part of Article 12, the alum treatment debt service. Which has been a few years now.
Yeah, it's actually 13.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 13. It says 12 on.
yeah, she
and-
just typoed. That's okay.
Wait, number 13. So 71,600. I need a motion.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Second. Reading it.
Hold on, reading.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so this was the one that they borrowed against future CPC.
Yes, they
funds,
did for the
to
treatment of
pay
the
for
lakes.
it.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah. So they always have to make sure at least that much money's in that account to grab from before any other projects.
Karen DeMayo, second.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
David Murphy, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen DeMayo, aye.
Robert Rovak, aye.
Article 14, restoration of bronze memorial plaques. So when I redid this, when the folks in town redid the war memorial, Bobby Paul Valeri was able to clean and sandblast this particular area. It's on the biggest monument there. It's the beautiful bronze piece. We were able to restore it for pennies on the dollar 4 years ago. But there is there was, and back then, the same monies to actually do it the right way. I couldn't raise the money, so, they figured out CPC could actually cover this. So that's why it's in front of you. And if you've been by and looking at it lately, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And the night lights are, last night we plugged them in, go by at night. It's just, oh, it's gorgeous. So I need a motion to approve this.
Motion, guys.
Second, Karen DeMayo.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Matthew,
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen DeMayo, aye.
Robert Rajek, aye.
All right. So Wally Park Spray Park, Article 15. To see if the town will vote to appropriate and transfer the sum of $294,000 from the Community Preservation Open Space and Recreational Fund to pay for all costs incidental and related to the installation of a spray park to be located at Wally Park. Assessors map all 90 parcel 14. Registered in Handy County Register of Deeds, books 19495, page 325. Or take any other action therefore. Motion to approve the transfer of sums, community preservation, funds all costs incidental related, same thing. Okay. So that's what it says, guys.
So it looks like they are paying from existing funds for
Yes.
CPC.
They are.
All right,
And I don't think, I guess our job is to look deeper down the road, right? And that'll be next week's discussion. And maybe, maybe I can email as I'm discussing with CPC, which I will to get the numbers that you're looking for. I will ask them what they feel, what funding they think they'll need moving forward hypothetically on this project.
that's probably the only thing we really have to get across to the people of this town is
Yeah. And whether we're for it or against it, it would be nice to tell them
yeah,
it's 30,000 a year that you'll be seeing.
So that everybody can hear, the spray park would be really nice to have in town here. But financially, we've got to look at that too.
Absolutely. I'm not thrilled about this. Do I have two great little children that I'll be over there with? Yes, absolutely. I will.
by the way, this is like the only one that is a true con that Alita drafted. If you read it, right?
Yeah.
So this is like, if you, the pro for voting for this is X.
What is,
Right. Approval of the article will allow use of community resident funds to create a community spray park to be located in Wally Park as a recreational community. This would create additional family-oriented activities to enhance our community and create an amenity to attract new residents. Did I say that right? Amenity?
Mhm.
Amenity, sorry. The con, a spray park will require additional operating expenses such as water usage, maintenance costs, including winterization costs and insurance premiums. Additional staff or overtime may also be required to keep the spray park operational. Usage by the community will also create additional risk to the town. Yeah, she's right.
Mhm.
but no, it's, if we approve, what is the pro? If we approve, what is the con? It is,
Right,
this is right.
right. So tonight we have to make a motion to approve this article.
Right.
Yeah. that's all.
Article.
No.
11. Yep.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hi, Laura.
So by approving the article, are you also recommending?
No,
Hmm.
no, that's not what we're doing tonight. That's what we're
Okay.
going to do next week.
Okay.
We do next week?
Next week,
Well, the pros and cons.
next week, we're gonna do the pros and cons. And then we're gonna actually say, are we recommending this article? Whereas right now, we're just approving it as written.
Okay.
Because that's what you told us to do.
Yeah.
Right, to be presented.
Right.
Well,
We did approve the other four articles under the special tonight. We did say yes.
Yeah, that's,
No, but we did do that part.
That
right?
one.
Yeah.
Are all approving and recommending.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yes,
yes.
So now we're just.
I don't know.
approving it as written.
Right, and that's what I was getting at before. Are we looking at approving numbers that the funds are available? Or are we going into the weeds to say, or do we do or do not approve the product? And the spray park is the only one, like you said,
That we've
That
got a little more
really
discussion on.
we have
Yeah.
to discuss.
I think we have to read these pros and cons, settle on that, and then determine if,
We
Right.
endorse it as a
yeah.
committee.
And I don't know, how deep did you say at the end? If it's not unanimous, do you say 3 out of 7 said yes? Do you go, and I'll talk to Carl. To get educated on what he's really looking for or what the town is. It's a blur when you're up there. You guys know, definitely a blur.
Is this just a majority vote wins?
I don't know, that's what I'm at, that, or does it matter, or is it, there's 7 of us, and we voted 3 to 5? No, or 3 to 5, yes.
How is that presented at the town meeting? Is it presented by the moderator that town
So,
finance committee does not recommend this article and?
This- nope.
Yes,
we,
Recommended by both the select board and.
we do that, we come out and say whether we recommend it or not.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're accountable for all your sins,
Yeah, good.
right there, boom on the table, not a problem. I'm used to that part. But it's just a matter of, and we're changing things this year. She's gonna do more with computers and PowerPoint.
Okay.
Cause there's so many articles. I don't believe they're actually gonna be getting read this year. Everyone's getting the same paperwork, folks. Did you read it? Great, like we just did. Okay, any questions? Let's have the questions. So the town moderator is not gonna read word for word every time. So it's gonna be different, it'll be real different. And then our motions are, we approve or disapprove. I believe the select board will have their say. And then the chairman of the finance committee will have their say, whatever we decide.
Okay.
Is what I'll spew,
Mhm.
yeah.
Understood.
So,
Remind me again where this money comes from,
Community Preservation Act,
but
on your
it's,
taxes, when you pay your real estate
Okay.
taxes, 3%. Goes to that, up to your first 100,000. So tonight, yes, we are approving the article as written.
That's right. And we'll do the recommendations the next time.
That's right.
Yeah,
Just want to make sure we don't lose that.
no, we won't lose it, because I'll come back with information.
Yep.
You know,
No,
and even if we approve it financially, it's still, we still, I think, need to say rough estimate, it's 35,000 in water. It's $2,800 in staffing next year. Something we're gonna need to look at moving forward. So it says, so not everyone is, what do you mean it costs us money? It's given to us. You know, and we're not being devil's advocate, we're just being financially responsible for
correct.
what we do. And people will take it the wrong. But that's okay. So I need a motion first. To approve as written, Article 15, Water Parks, Great Park.
Motion, Dr. Zawalski.
Second, Karen Janaya.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zawalski.
David Mattheon.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Janaya.
Robert Roger,
Article 16. The Moore House repair. You everyone know where the Moore House is?
Yep, not my neck of the woods.
So next to the marijuana power plant, that's not there yet. All right, to see if the town will vote to appropriate and transfer the sum of $29,075 from the Preservation Historical Fund in order to replace one horizontal timber with post under the north attic window. Wow. I will also get us the paperwork on what that really means. Because that says that one beam
Yeah, but
under window. for
are they buying a
$30,000.
historic beam?
They probably are,
Horizontal timber.
they probably
I
are,
mean, they probably have.
but
to
I will
it
get
fit.
us the verbiage on that.
And I do know that there's a lot of money left in historical.
It really is. No, and
In
there
the
is.
historical, that was probably the one, when I was there many, many years ago, there was like $400,000.
Yes,
And we haven't had, a lot of suggestions come through the
No.
historical.
that in
Okay.
housing, it's,
So, not that we want to waste it, but
No, no.
I'm just saying,
yeah,
Mhm.
you're right,
there's a lot of money there to spend.
yes. Okay, so I need a motion to approve the article as written.
Motion, Dr. Zawalski.
Karen Janaya, second.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zawalski.
David Mattheon.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Janaya, aye.
Robert Roger,
Okay. Next is Article 17. Which is,
Tree.
hazardous tree removal at Old Cemetery. That is very self-explanatory. You can stop at any time and take a look. So I need a motion to approve that.
Motion, Dr. Zawalski.
Second, Karen Janaya.
Alrighty, thank you. All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zawalski.
David Mattheon.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Janaya, aye.
Robert Roger,
All right, Article 18. Repair of slate roof and cupola at police department. This has been on a few times. I think they did funding a year or two ago for the engineering and the design work, was like 18 or 20,000. Which passed back in the day,
Mhm.
and it looks like they finally got, a real,
Can we go back to 17 for a second?
yeah.
Granted, it is historical funds again. Are they using historical because these trees are posing a hazard to the historical? Because the funds can't be used for repair and maintenance.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I think they get,
So.
I think they run that by the state and the state approves it or not,
Mm,
don't they?
Well, you don't.
No,
want
they
brick
don't
headstones.
necessarily run it by the state. They look at how other towns have used the money in the past. They do their own.
Depends on what the articles in front of them is, depends on how they run it, where they run it.
Yeah,
For the answer,
no, the
they do
state
do not
doesn't
want it
tell
here.
them they can
Oh,
do it
no?
or
Okay.
not.
No, but kind of, but no,
They-
it's.
They try and read between the lines.
Usually a keyword like hazard that needs to be used.
Yeah, there's a trigger,
And monument.
right?
Cause this reads to me that it is more maintenance, property maintenance.
Yeah,
But it's only on the old side that you have those tall
And then the old
monuments. and
side,
everything.
that is why it's
And it's a
historical.
shame when they get broken, because you
no,
pay
it
a
is,
lot of
it
money for
absolutely
something
is.
like that. There's a lot of veterans there.
No, so it's not restoring.
Right, but so that was for CPC to decide, not the finance committee.
Okay, all right,
I'm with you,
Presumably,
all
they-
right.
I'm with you, but right, that they vented this, we're not the venting agency.
I was just thinking of the preservation
That's
side,
remember?
in order to avoid having to repair stones and disrespect somebody, this work needs to get done. I was looking at it from the other
So
side.
absolutely it does. I mow over there quite a bit.
No,
That's not the case.
I
I'm-
agree 100%.
Is it maintenance
Avoid
or not?
a problem before,
Right.
but
Yeah, and you're right, it probably is maintenance, so maintenance that wasn't done for 100 years,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
And now we'll call it historical, if that works in the jive of the world, then we'll take it.
Mhm.
So, judging by our taxes on, we don't have the funds on the other side. Even though this is our money, right, 3% of this is our
and
money,
it's historical.
and it is historical.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, so we're good with 17, so 18 is the slate roof on the fire department and the cupola. So we're looking at. Like I said, it was in before for design work, which they did approve a year or two ago. And now it's back for the actual job. So I would entertain a motion for Article 18.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Seconded Karen Denial.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski.
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Denial.
Robert Brockett,
Okay. Article 19.
Regional School District Budget. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. Well, at least I can honestly say this year, we had a lot of conversation about it, right? From years past. No, had more. I'm looking at you, Karen.
Oh, we've had plenty of conversation here,
right?
but we've had healthy discussions.
I know you have in the past too, but did we get close to the years past or? Okay, I just wanted, all right, good. I feel better about that. So I need to
The
vote.
buses was interesting, so,
What are they, 53% of the budget?
I believe it's 53%.
so that's higher than the 50.
It used to be like 51, 52, I thought
Yeah,
back in the
it's-
day.
it's-
Yeah,
Motion. Dr. Zalowski.
a motion. Is there a second?
second, Mr. Roger.
Thank you. All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski.
David met the eye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Denial, aye.
Robert Roger.
Karen wants me to sweat. That's okay. Article 20, we're not done yet. Regional School District Debt Authorization. I'll entertain a motion.
Dr. Zalowski, motion.
Karen
Wait a minute.
Karen Denial, second.
Maintenance
Yes, sir.
van at 65, is that what? I thought they were buying a little kind of a golf cart.
Nope, they're buying a
They've got a
stake
golf
bed.
cart over there.
They're buying a stake bed truck that they currently already have that you see drive around. They're replacing that. And that's the one we asked if other towns had it. And then Mr. Didi. Through my secretary Elizabeth. She writes better than me. We sent a nice letter over asking for 70,000 off and. Was told no.
That's the truck that was from like 1986 or something.
Yeah, I get it. I get
I
it.
don't know what they,
They go around the field with it and it's there. I see it. It is always worth it. It's a stake bed. You know, they put the cones on it, the graduation chairs, I'm sure when they're moving. The kids' gym equipment for sports teams and stuff. I mean, it gets used and it gets used throughout the compound.
well,
of
if it's
all
from the
buildings.
eighties, they used it for a long
Yeah.
time too,
No,
but
they did.
it's a tough time to be buying vehicles.
Yes, but as we've been told, it's. Our fight should have been apparently at our first meeting when they were upstairs on the second floor. When we all laughed and brought up retirements and that kind of stuff. So next year, I guess we're gonna come right out and say, no, we disapprove of all this. So they have time to go back to their boards. Or we're gonna, and if we're serious, then we're gonna start going to some school committee meetings.
Yeah, I mean, that's really.
You know, a month before budget season, when they're literally getting, so they're ahead of us, right? They gotta come to us with a budget. So they're doing the same thing we're doing or what our
They
department heads are
start in
doing.
January, maybe?
Yeah, January, February. Yeah, I should be back. Oh, and then, yeah, we just gotta start going to their, or even one of us. Go to their meeting
Just take
and we'll
some
alternate
notes.
through, take
Yeah.
notes. At least we have something to go by, so when
Right.
they do come in front of us, we can look and say, okay, and we know. You need to be informed, shame on us for not being informed. Yes, we can ask the school all the time and we can blame the school, but we all have plenty of time on our hands. Supposedly, and we should be more in front of that school system. I don't see them doing anything wrong, it's just we don't understand it. And it's a big part of the town's budget, and we're responsible for this. As Laura had to show me that our budget is, what color is it this year, Laura? The paper,
It's fine.
it's green, of course, to match her office. But it's blah, 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 and the bottom line is finance committee. So realistically, it's our budget. Yes, the selectmen are part of it, and I went to the selectmen meeting and asked if they could change it to the selectmen's budget. They're the ones getting paid. And no, it's the finance committee's budget. So at the end of the day, this is our budget going in front of town meeting. So that's why I wanted that block out. The more I thought about our budget, our responsibility, we put the hours in.
Yeah. Well,
So we learned, I learned.
hey, I mean, there's no bad guys here. I mean.
And there isn't.
right? The
That's what
school
Doug Mogul
did
said
what they
last
should
night.
do,
Yeah.
And, but everybody in town has skin in the game. They can all show up at a budget,
They
school
can.
committee meeting as well.
They
Doesn't
don't.
have to.
And nobody shows up.
No.
Just.
So this is really the only thing that we have any control over, because we don't have any control over the school committee budget, but we
The debt,
we could have, because this doesn't go through our Capcom,
it doesn't. No,
so we don't really even have control over this. They say this is the article we're putting forward.
right, they do.
So
They
they
give us.
circumvent everything for finance committee.
Yeah, they do.
So that's
Would you
what,
like to
like,
share it with us?
Can't win in this one.
no, but I'm saying, you're saying that you hold up and you say, this is the finance committee
Well,
budget.
that's just my
But-
version of being a
But
drill.
sometimes
Minus
we
the
say
school.
with the exception of the schools,
Karen,
School's omnipotent, you can't touch it.
right? But I'm. just
I'm
saying
with you.
Because, yeah,
The only way
the
you can
town
touch it is
doesn't
to go to
realize,
the people.
that's why the more we can say it, the town doesn't realize. it.
Yeah, I guess I could do a fun fact show
Mhm.
while I'm already sinking. Hey, fun facts, it's 11:30 at night and guess what? Joking. Yeah, but you are right, we don't, it's a pass through. But a lot of this, well, now, anything that's not financial, we don't have to deal with, those are pass throughs. But yes, technically, the budget part of this is on behalf of the finance committee. Karen.
Well, same for CPC.
No, it is, but CPC is a percentage, the school is us. It's our checkbook.
So just not to digress too much, I'm sorry, but
No,
the CPC, if we voted to discontinue playing in that game, would we have 3.5% back into the general budget?
Yep.
And our levy would be,
Mhm.
3.5% more than it is.
Well, no, because this is a separate tax on top of it. So this is a separate, so by removing it, yeah, you, the 3%, you wouldn't see it in your taxes.
Yeah, right.
Because it's an add-on when you look at your real estate tax, it's a
Right.
separate line item.
They-
So they would go down,
They go down, yeah,
but it's not,
Right.
it wouldn't come through this form
right. But is it,
Right.
it's 3% of your taxes that are.
after 100,000.
After,
Unless
oh,
it-
excuse
Yeah,
me, yeah.
first 100 grand, you
Right.
win,
Okay, yeah,
which meant something 10 years ago.
yeah.
It doesn't anymore. And in years past, we won't get into too deep, they've tried to eliminate it, they've tried to alter that number to say 2% and 1.5. And every time they've touched it, it got voted down. And I'm probably wrong, so whoever's gonna fact check and complain later, you got my number. I believe when it first came into town meeting years ago, it was like 1.5%. And on the floor, it changed to 3%. When they first brought it into town.
Yeah.
Because they felt that strong about it.
Yeah.
And
But
there wasn't,
yet they've been
there wasn't many
having trouble
towns
spending
doing
the
it.
money.
And
Right, well,
There
run
is
out
an-
of things.
there is
after
an
a while.
advantage to doing the full three
There is.
percent, because higher matching from the state, if you
Yes.
do the
Yeah.
full
Yeah,
3%.
it's a
There's two rounds
Yeah.
of matching, so if you're at 1 or 2%, you're only round one. But if
Right.
you're at 3%, you're also in round two.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, and as you know, though, after a while, you run out of things to spend it on, and you can only spend it on certain things. So, yeah, you're getting money from the state, but it's not well spent, it's.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't go anywhere.
Well,
We don't lose it.
believe me, it
It
goes,
sits
it
there.
goes to things like water parks.
So years ago, I would think it was, years ago, I think it was very narrow where it was spent.
Yeah.
There were certain people in charge of it and it was very narrow.
Yeah.
Through all of the BS of trying to change percentages, trying to get rid of it, it definitely brought more attention to it.
Yeah.
And as we can see tonight, there's a lot of great things on there that 5 years ago wasn't. You follow me? So we are moving in the right direction. And the sign in the center of town says, send your applications in. The church I own today, they've approached me 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Why don't you look at CPC funds for this? It's not a church anymore. It's a nonprofit.
Right,
And I do qualify. I haven't had the time to even mentally think of that road.
yeah.
But, so they are
That's
approaching
good.
and they are trying. So I do give them credit for that. And that board has changed.
Yeah.
They do listen. And it still does what it wants to do. It's not perfect. No board and commission's perfect, including this one.
Sure.
So, but
Okay.
they have come a long way.
Thanks for that.
I agree. So, Article 20, right?
Yep,
We still on that?
yep.
So I need a motion for Article 20.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Thank you, sir.
Second, Karen.
Thank you. All those in favor? Joe DDI.
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen, my eye.
Robert Rojak, aye.
Thank you. Article 35, borrowing authorization, road construction. This is the bond for $1 million, correct? Yeah. And fun fact, I think they're changing all the numbers on articles, just so we know for later. Because this was just printed, says with the new numbers.
No.
Nope, so the fun fact, changing numbers as of last night.
So.
But some of the older folks may not want to stay around, so they want the marijuana up front, a few other things up front. And then, That's all good. It's the prerogative of the select board. Okay, so Article 35 is, the sum is $1 million, right, Laura? Right, last we knew.
Yeah,
Okay.
last minute.
For road paving, I need a motion.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Karen, my second.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski.
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen, my eye.
Robert Rojak, aye.
Article 36. Fiber optic broadband. And the number is
3 million.
appropriate $3 million to pay cost of design, construction, installation, and startup of the fiber optic broadband network Before this article, which we didn't have to talk about because it's not funding, is the actual article on light and whatever they're calling it, that has to be formed for them to look at funding it to move forward with fiber optics. So here we're reading it like it's been approved, because earlier in the articles, it will have been approved. If it doesn't survive that, there's no article here,
Okay.
okay? But yeah, the town's municipal light plant. So there's 900,000, I believe, Laura, is that correct? And ARPA? I got it right. ARPA funds, which we don't see here, which was monies left over from the whole COVID scheme of things. So there's 900 grand that Mr. Moglen somehow luckily was able to hold on to put towards this cost plus the 3 million. And the hope is that the 3.9 million is to realistically get the process working, because it needs to pay for itself. So it's really a $9 to $12 million project. But the hope is the 3 million plus the 900, we'll get that ball rolling, we'll get certain parts of town done, which will then fund the expansion as it goes.
Explain the word startup.
Thank you. Thank you,
So
Doctor.
basically, I'll be
Ship
last
in
on
a
the
little
list.
quicker anytime. Yeah, what's that?
I'll be last on that list because.
Yes, I personally wrote a letter and said for you to be last, yes, you are correct. And then I'm right after you. So I can be next to last. All right, so I need a motion for that.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Second, Karen Demayo.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Demayo, aye.
Robert Rovak, aye.
Okay, Article 37, dump truck and plow. This is the big boy. This is the big one, $318,000.
How long before you get that?
We're not here to discuss last night's lectures. So I need a motion.
Motion. Dr. Zalowski.
Yes.
Second, Karen Demayo.
And seconds that, all those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalowski, aye.
David Matthew, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Demayo, aye.
Robert Rovak, aye.
Okay. It's about a year and 2 months to get that done.
So it's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think so. Either. But they'll be 2 years out.
Yep.
Okay, so that is done. Is there anything else, Laura, that we missed tonight?
Statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kept pushing that around. What's that about?
That is about what we do.
Right?
This is about, is this what I gave to the select board?
I don't know if that's what you gave, I don't know what, you gave it of something, but I don't know. what it
Yeah,
is.
so they want me talking. This is what we do. Finance committee, this is on the website, right?
This goes into the budget,
Oh, it's not from the website?
no, this goes to the budget book. No, I mean, the budget book.
Oh, we all get to read this together then.
We revamped this last year,
This is-
yeah,
And she.
I think we kind of. kept it.
Yeah, we were Smith. I think.
Last year, right? Yeah.
Year to year.
Oh, it's right there, Karen. See it? Primary responsibilities of the Southwick Finance Committee, including annual comprehensive review of departmental budgets, with the exception of the school budget. Is that you? You slide that in last year? I'm sure you did. Thank
There's
you.
more than one person.
Yes. No, I get that, but but as we're talking, that's it. Establishing and maintaining a reserve fund account.
Oh, I don't see mine.
Here, give them-
Oh, appreciate it.
no giving person.
Yeah, it's generic enough now where we don't have to change anything.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. Nice job.
It used to be like, they'd mention the computer upgrades and we said, well, we're not, that's done. Let's change it to, the roof.
Right.
You were the one that gave most of the input last year for this.
Yeah.
All right, is everyone comfortable with this? Do we need a motion to accept this, Laura? Let's make a motion to accept this.
Motion, Dr. Zalowski.
Second, Karen Demath.
All right, all those in favor as written, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalinski,
Dave Murphy, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Demath.
Robert Rochek, aye.
Anything else, Karen? I'm sorry, anything else, Laura?
No, I think we. covered.
So homework assignments, we're gonna pick apart those pieces.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
up with some ideas.
You know-
Next week, we meet. Really just about this unless something else pops up during the week. So I don't think it'll be a long meeting if we're all organized. You know,
Yeah, can I just,
absolutely, sir.
another thought, I was reflecting on these pros and cons, and I think the problem I have with it is that a pro and a con is, in my opinion, somewhat subjective, depending on who's writing it, and that's what makes it, you know, a little suspect sometimes. And that's why I was saying, you know, hey, just stick to a pro and a con, but I think that maybe the best way to think about this as like the state does with, when they come out with articles or whatever to vote on. They say a yes vote means X, X and Y, and a no vote means A, B, and C. So, and that's a little bit more objective way to think about it. It's easier to articulate. You can just say, you know, just grab one. A yes vote for the community preservation funding. Let's grab one. The restoration, right?
Yeah.
And then, so Alita has a lot of what we would want to borrow from this. But I think it's easier to state what a yes vote means to the town, what a no vote means, as opposed to trying to say a pro.
Yeah,
You know,
pros a
it's-
yes, a con is a no, but just come on and
Right.
say it.
But right, but it's
Yeah.
less subjective and it's more about, hey, this is what it means to the town. It's gonna cost you this, or it's gonna give us this kind of an improvement. And a no vote means you're not gonna have that capability, you're not gonna have that service, or you're not gonna have that upgrade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even for the state, they jump back and forth with, this is what approving it, this is what disapproving,
Oh,
you
yeah,
gotta read
sure.
it.
Yeah, you gotta read.
Well,
the
Yeah,
transcript.
because the question they ask, they'll put double negatives in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you're like, why don't you just ask the question? Be
Oh, yeah, I know,
straightforward.
right,
If you
it's
want a
big.
real answer, ask the simple question.
But anyway, I think that's an easier, at least for me, so I thought I'd mention that. It's easier for me to state what a yes means and what a no means, as opposed to trying to formulate it into, but here's why you should, and here's why you shouldn't. You know,
Yeah,
It's very
because-
simple. It's
Yeah,
cut and dry. Yes,
Right.
is yes, no is no, and this is.
pros
why.
and cons are subjective to people's wants and needs.
yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. They always have.
thank you for.
All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
motion, Dr. Zalinski,
Karen Demath, second.
All those in favor, Joe DDI.
Dr. Zalinski,
Dave Murphy, aye.
Sherry Knowlton, I.
Karen Demath.
Robert Rochek, aye.
Hey, folks, have a great night. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next Tuesday, 5:30.